Hi there, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm gonna show you guys how to do a simple preloader on Webflow just like this. One more time. Phenomenal. So this is gonna be a follow along. It's actually not that difficult. So I'll go to the project that I have ready here. I'm just gonna delete everything so we can do it from the beginning, also the interactions. And as you can see, I already have the materials loaded up, but you can use whatever pictures you want, or I can put those together for you guys, so you can just copy paste them. So we just have here a basic flexbox with 4 different images, and that's basically it. That's all we have. I'm just gonna clean up the interactions here for a second. So what we want to do is something like this, where there's kind of like a loading bar, right? So do it again. So there you go, loading bar, and then the images move up, stacked, and with a little delay in between to make it a little more interactive. There are millions of preloaders, and it's something I love, but sometimes they're not required or counterproductive. But in any case, I think it's interesting and important to know how to do that. All right, so fantastic. So I'm gonna delete all the styles first of all, so we can do this together. Interactions, okay, I think we are good to go. So the first thing we want to do is to create what's gonna contain the preloader, right? And it's gonna be white. But let's see what's the best way here to do this. So I'm just gonna add a div, drop a div here, and we'll call this preloader contain. And then we're gonna do position fixed, and I'm gonna just set it to 100 SVH. And let's say index number 3, we're gonna add the background in a second. Let me just check one thing. So we want this section to be 100 SVH with no overflow, or as you can see here, no overflow, and we can clip it as well. So same effect, but yeah. All right, fantastic. So we'll go back to preloader contain. Position fixed, in order for it to stay on the screen. It should stay on the screen anyways, because the section is 100 SVH. But if you want to apply it to real projects with a longer web page, then it should stay on top, so you can scroll and you can still see the preloader overlaying everything else. All right, so let's add a div in here. Let's add another div and another one. Actually, not as a child element, but let's do 3 divs. I think that's what we need. 2, 3, there you go. So the first div is going to contain the background. So it's going to be the white background. So if you go here, white, and yep, there is not much of a transition because the background itself is already white of the webpage. And as you can see, the images are out of view. So it's white on white, which is why we don't see any difference with this particular animation. But in general, we would have a white overlay like this. So if I go here, right, I'm just going to show you as an example absolute and give it a color, so of red, and set it to 100 SVH, 100%. Actually, what did I do wrong here? Preloader contain. So there was a little bug somewhere. Never mind. Okay, so preloader contain, it's gonna be on top of everything. I'm just gonna bring it up here. I prefer to have it before. So we can choose a color just to see how it looks like. There you go. Okay, so the preloader contain, just to make sure it would be on top of everything else. I'm gonna leave it like this for a second, and then now we need to, because we want the different elements to move and to interact each in a different way. The best way to go here is to add 3 divs, or to add additional divs that overlay on top of each other but are independent from each other. Because if we were using position relative, they would stack with negative margins, for example, but they would take up too much vertical space. And or if I created this with a parent and child relationship, it would get a little messy. So the best way to go is to keep the different elements separated. What do I mean by that? So we need a background. which is the white. Okay, then we need, let's see, then we need something that's gonna hold, there's an image on top of it. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's like a cloud. Let me show you the SVG. There you go, this is a cloud, which is overlaying the bar, because I wanted to give it like a mountain look, basically. So we need a background, which is the white. Then we need, no, actually here, the preloader color background, that's for the entire preloader. Then we need a wrap for the bar. Then we need a wrap for the inner bar, and then we need another wrap or another div, right? Another div for the bar that is gonna grow. Not sure if that makes sense, but we just think about it logically. Okay, so let's think about this. Let's do the background in a proper way now. So this is gonna be fixed. Okay, fantastic. So we add another div. 1, 2, 3. So this is gonna be the background. So I'm gonna say preloader contain preloader background wrap. Okay, so this is gonna be the white color basically. Also to absolute z index 2 full and color white. So white. Where's white? There's white. Okay, fantastic. So it's overlaying the other ones. Now we need one to hold the bar and one to hold the image. Okay, so let's say this is going to be our preloader content. Okay, which is going to contain the bar basically. This can also be position absolute and full. And let's give it a z index of 3 to be on top of the background. Let's give it a flex center, and then we can add our diff for the bars. Okay, so this is gonna be the preloader bar wrap. Okay, so this is gonna contain the 2 different bars. Let's give it a minimum width, I would say, yeah, a minimum width of 25 VH maybe. Yeah, something like that. A minimal height of 15 SVH. No, that's too much. Let's say 12.5. Let's say 10. There you go. That's better. Okay. And inside here, we're going to have the background color, which is like the light grayish. Then we have the stronger grayish on top of it, basically. All right. So, okay. The bar wrap. So this is going to contain the. We can actually give this. We can give this the background actually, but let's remain independent. So what I'm gonna do is gonna set this to relative, and then I'll add the background. Okay, just gonna be the preloader background. Yep, preloader background, which is gonna be some type of. Do I have it here? Like some type of no. So we just pick another color. That's fine. So like something like that. And, okay, let's go back. Just okay, something even lighter. Just to have it subtle, you know, like a very subtle transition, something like that. Yeah, okay. And then on top of this, we're gonna want the growing bar. So this is relative. Okay, fantastic. So we're gonna add the preloader bar wrap. Okay. And this is gonna be a flex box with left alignment, because what we want to do is to have the preloader bar in there. Okay, so what we want to do is to have the bar growing from the left to right. So the position flex align left is gonna ensure that the bar grows from the left to the right and not from the right to the left or something else. Okay, so that's gonna be the bar inner. This is gonna be position absolute. Fill out the bar container, which is this is position static. Okay, this is okay, fantastic. So the inner, let's say it's gonna be the index of 2. I'm gonna overlay everything. Let's just make sure it's working. There you go. Fantastic. Do I have what's going on? I'll set it to flex. Have it grow. Yeah, there you go. So the bar inner. Now we have the color. I'm just going to remove that for now. And this is where we're going to put the growing bar. So inside here, I'm going to add another div. I'll call this preloader bar. Okay. And I'll set the color to some darker gray. Something like that. Let's just make sure it's working. So give it a width of 20% or 10 pH. And the width and the height of 100%. There you go. Okay, so it's working. Fantastic. It's on top of it. So yeah, and from here we want the animation to grow it out. So this is basically almost done, like this part. What we wanted to do now is to add the cloud image on top of this, and that's pretty easy. Like we just need a div which is gonna say preloader image contain. Okay, this is gonna be on top of the other ones. This is the index 3, so this is gonna be 4. There you go. No, absolute. So 4 full, and we're gonna add a flex here so we can add the image on top. And this is gonna be our cloud image. There you go, that it's ready. And so now it's way too rough, so I'm just give it a class. So preloader image, okay. I'm gonna reduce the opacity, let's say here, something like that. Maybe play around with the blending modes. Let's see. No, okay, I think something like that is similar. Yeah, something like that should work. Okay, phenomenal. In order not to interact with this, I'm just gonna give it a pointer events none. Cool, perfect. Okay, so we have I think this is the entire structure already. Let me think if I'm missing something. Preloader. We have the structure in the back. Okay, yeah, fantastic. Actually, that should be enough. Phenomenal. So now comes the good point, the cool point. That's naturally the animation, but this is easy peasy, actually. Okay, so we're gonna go with the page load animation. No, hold on, that's the reference. There you go. So page load, which means when the page starts loading, okay, so when the user lands on the page, we want the bar to start growing until the load is complete. So this is our first point, okay? So I'm gonna give it a name of preloader in, okay? So when it starts, we want the preloader bar, to start growing to the right, okay? So we can use size animation, so from width of 0% to 100%, or actually, it's a better practice to right. So actually, a better practice is just to not start from 0, but give it like a 10%, maybe 20% width. Yeah, as a starting point, initial state. So there you go. And it's gonna grow to 100%, right? So let's use something like outcirc, and there you go. Look at that, phenomenal. Just give it a longer duration, maybe 1 second. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Beautiful. So that's it for the bar, basically. And now, depends what we want to do. So what happens here? We have the preloader bar. Oh, I think I messed something up here. Let's do it again. There you go. Then we have the clouds, and then we have the images moving. Okay. So it basically disappears, right? Yeah, it's a scale animation. Okay, so it basically contracts. Okay, so that's pretty easy. So now what we want to do is to set the action, set what's going to happen once the page has loaded, has finished loading. And what we want to happen is to scale down the entire preloader, hide it, and then show the mountain animation. All right. So I'm going to go to when page finishes loading. I'm going to call it like preloader up. Okay. So first thing what we could do is to go to the preloader contain. Then we can add a scale animation here. We can say it starts at 0, and then it goes to it starts as one, and then it goes to 0, like that. Yeah, that's all right. Like that. That's the starting point, right? Yeah, there you go. Then we can give it let's see. Can give it another transition, also 1. There you go. Nah, that's too much. So let's go back. Kind of works. I mean, I played with opacity, etc. So it's just a little, some fine details, but nothing too major. So I'm just gonna keep it simple here. We're gonna use the scale animation, so it disappears and then it hides completely, just to make sure we are not, we're not. Jesus, I think I messed something up here. Okay, so let's go back. I think I missed the. I forgot to record. Try again. Okay, so the what we want is the main image rising up after the page is loaded. Okay, so we can add a move animation, set it to 110% vertically, so it gets out of view. And then we can add another move animation, set it to 0%, together with the scale, and add an outsert easing. Let's see what happens. So animation, and then voila. We need a little delay here. So let's say 1.3. So it takes a little while after the preloader. There you go. Beautiful. And then the secret now is just to add a little delay between the images. And that's it. So to stack them chronologically, right? So if I go here to the main image, I'm going to add the second image. Same thing, move animation, and then here, instead of 1.3 delay, I'm going to add a 1.5 delay. Okay, so we have 110%, 0%, and outsert. Let's check it out. Voila, voila, voila. Beautiful. And now we just do the same thing for the other ones. So we go here, we can add a move, animation, state, 110%, 0%, and delay. What was the delay here? 1.5. Let's add a 0.7 delay. Outsert, and let's do the last one already. There you go. Move. Move. Let's add a 1.9 delay. Outsert, 0%, and here, move it down, 110%. Like, it's better to add 110% because sometimes a little part of the element is gonna stick up, depending on, you know, like SVH and keyboard screens and stuff like that. So just to be sure, I always add 110%. So now this should be everything. Let's check it out. So da-da-da, 1, 2, 3, 4, voila. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. So that's it. I think it should be easy peasy. I hope it is understandable. Yeah. If you like it, if you enjoy this type of content, give me a like, hit the subscribe button. It will be very appreciated. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Aesthetics work. Cheers.